Probably not the reminder you want to have on Friday the 13th if you're a former Fighting Irish offensive lineman, and that's who we bring back, Ryan Harris. Ryan, first of all, just a wellness check here. How are we feeling? I know that video maybe brought back some emotions from the weekend, but have we recovered to this point?
Everybody's gotten past what happened last week, and really hats off to Coach Hammond, Northern Illinois. They ran a fantastic game plan, and Notre Dame should not ever lose to a team like Northern Illinois, but those guys came into play. But I've been answering a lot of calls. I've been more therapist than analyst this week, Haley. It's been tough for the Irish fans.
Well, good news is that it's early in the season, still a chance to bounce back. There's no time to be sad about it, quite frankly, because they need a bounce-back win against Purdue. Ryan, it's not going to be an easy game, a rowdy environment, plus the pressures of that result last week. How much does this team need a win tomorrow, especially when you saw those college football playoff chances kind of plummet after that loss?
They need to win to continue what slim championship hopes they want to keep alive. And I'm telling you, there's also an issue here of people playing for their jobs. Maybe it's coaches, maybe it's some players. But this win has to happen for Notre Dame to continue to believe they can win a national championship. They actually had 2 blocked field goals last weekend. So every single phase, offense and defense and special teams, needs to improve. The defense will be one of the top in the nation. They got beat in a couple of key situations, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2 late in the game. But at the end of the day, this is about a program who has elite talent, awesome gold on their jerseys, but they did not play like gold. They played like silver. And this is something that Marcus Freeman has experienced a couple of times now in his short tenure as head coach. So he has built the team out of this kind of situation, and in no way did he expect to be here again. A lot will be riding on the performance of Riley Leonard, the quarterback, and the rest of the offense, because they have to meet the defense in production. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough year for Notre Dame.
Yeah, let's talk about Riley Leonard, because you, like very many others, were very high on him coming into the season, and rightfully so. He had a good career there at Duke, but so far in South Bend, maybe not the production that anyone was expecting out of him. Why has he struggled so much this season?
Well, he's been playing through injury, I know that, and he also has had 2 fresh offensive tackles. One of them is actually a freshman, the left tackle, Anthony Knapp. He has not had time to set his feet much of the time when he drops back, and they've really used him in the run game as the main running back, which you definitely don't want to do with Jeremiah Love and others that are on this team in the backfield. But for Riley Leonard, he has to play better. And look, I played with great coaches who would be honest, and that's what players want. And Riley Leonard knows he has probably a half of football to prove that he's the guy. Now, Marcus Freeman and offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock have been very clear. There's been no role change. They haven't thought about it. And the Irish have to win against a talented Purdue team. So Riley Leonard is going to have a short leash, I believe, going into this Saturday's game.
Yeah, I know on the screen we have the yards per attempt highlighted there, but the column underneath that, the passing touchdown to interception ratio, no passing touchdowns so far in the year. You got to think that something has to change, because waiting in the wings is a 4-star quarterback in C.J. Carr. He's a true freshman, was the 5th best quarterback in his class, ranked 38th overall by our partners at 24/7 Sports. So clearly this is a guy who knows how to play ball, at least at the high school level. So at some point, if this doesn't get better, how soon should Marcus Freeman start considering a quarterback change?
The 3rd quarter. And I mean this with all due respect. I mean, I'm never going to question somebody's effort. I believe Riley Leonard has given his best effort. And if you're injured, you're hurting the team when you play. But C.J. Carr is the fan favorite, Haley. I was on the field during pregame warmups last week. When this freshman quarterback came onto the field, the crowd started cheering for him. They also got Steve Angeli, who threw for over 250 yards in the bowl game last year. But C.J. Carr, Steve Angeli, those guys will be ready. They'll be studying their notes differently this week, Haley, because everybody in the situation understands. If Riley Leonard does not perform in the first half of this game, there are going to be some opportunities for other players to make a name for themselves at quarterback for Notre Dame.
Of course, he's the grandson of Lloyd Carr, former head coach there at Michigan, so a lot of pressure, for him as well to get in the game. But at some point, you're going to have to make those tough choices, right? Because when you think about the expanded college football playoff bracket that we now have, 12 teams can get in. We saw the impact of that Northern Illinois loss, how their chances went from, 35% to 5% here. When you look at the rest of the schedule for Notre Dame, do you believe that the Fighting Irish can get there?
I want to say yes, Haley, but after last week, I got to see it. I really do believe they have the opportunity. And here's where it comes. If you can get on a roll and beat Purdue and Miami, you beat a ranked team in Louisville, and then you also have to get USC to continue to win. So that matchup against USC could be the ticket back into the college football playoffs. Now, if they win out, absolutely, at 11-1, I think they're in no problem. At 10-2, you need some help. You'll need a couple of 3-loss SEC teams like an LSU or somebody else. You're going to need help. So for the Irish to control their destiny, they've got to win out to give themselves a chance to play in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, just looking at that schedule, Louisville at home in 2 weeks, and you got the Giant Slayers and Georgia Tech 2 weeks after that, and Florida State. No one knows what they're going to look like at that point of the season, but they're still Florida State. So a lot of questions, but you have provided us with some answers, Ryan Harris. So good luck this weekend. I hope it's a much better weekend for you than last weekend was, and we will check in with you sometime soon.
Thank you.
We've got a doubleheader on tap for you. Notre Dame at Purdue kicking off at 3:30 Eastern on CBS. Make sure you come kick it with me at 3 o'clock, though. We got the pregame show with our super fun panel of former college players, professional players, bringing the best. That one gets underway at 3:30 Eastern. Then stick around for the fireworks. Colorado at Colorado State. Prime time for Deion Prime Sanders. The annual Rocky Mountain Showdown, I should say, between Colorado and Colorado State on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.